Welcome back to Wake Up America. So President Trump traveling to France this weekend for the reopening of the Notre Dame Cathedral. The trip was also an opportunity for President Trump to meet with world leaders and reaffirm our strength on the world stage. Joining me now for more, South Dakota Senator Mike Round. Senator, great to have you on this morning. So Jill Biden made the trip to France. Joe did not. Trump was seen sitting next to her and the president of France. Italy's Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni was there, as well as Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. So he's not president for another 6 weeks. What did you make of his trip abroad and meeting with all of these prominent world leaders?
Clearly, the other world leaders are looking to fill the vacuum of power that has basically been happening for the last couple of years. President Trump was there. They recognize that he will be the president. He's the president-elect right now. And most certainly, they wanted to start on a good note. That is a good sign for our country.
Yeah, absolutely. And as a senator, I want to ask you about the Senate confirmations coming up for Trump's nominees. So Trump doubling down this weekend on his support for Pete Hegseth as his Secretary of Defense. Take a listen.
Pete is doing well now. I mean, people were a little bit concerned. He's a young guy with a tremendous track record, actually. He went to Princeton and went to Harvard. He was a good student at both. But he loves the military, and I think people are starting to see it. So we'll be working on his nomination along with a lot of others.
And Senator, I know you've come out publicly in support of Hegseth after meeting with him last week, saying that he would bring a refreshing perspective to the Department of Defense and a new approach to strengthening our military. Do enough of your colleagues agree with you?
Well, I think part of the challenge for Mr. Hegseth is he's going to have to go in front of the public in public hearings, and he's going to have to share responses to the accusations that are out there. I found a very refreshing discussion with Mr. Hegseth. I think he had the right focus in terms of the way that we want to make the Department of Defense as lethal as possible. I had a very good conversation with him, but I also shared with him part of the challenge that he's going to have is visiting with other members and talking about the issues that have been brought to the forefront. My recommendation to him, my advice to him was sit down with the other members, find out what their issues and so forth are, and be prepared for that public hearing. We want him to be successful. I see a path forward for him, but he's still got to go through that process. And so I want him to be as prepared as possible. And there's a lot of members who are going to sit down. They're going to listen to him. They want the president's team in place. So I think he starts out on a positive note, but he most certainly is going to have to answer lots of questions in front of the public. And that's going to be a key to getting him into that position.
And I know that Tulsi Gabbard will head to Capitol Hill today to make that same plea to senators for her approval. Will you be meeting with her? And do you have any concerns about her serving in the Trump administration?
I will be meeting with her. I don't know what day I'm scheduled with her. I know that I've got Mr. Patel as well coming in. But Tulsi, I believe, is this week in my office. And we'll sit down with her and talk to her about the path forward that she wants to take. So we always take the same approach when we talk about nominees coming in front of us. The president deserves the benefit of the doubt in the nominees that he wants to work in his administration. But we've still got a responsibility for advice and consent, which means we take that seriously here in the Senate. We want to provide them with advice about, number one, how to get through the process. Second of all, back to the president, if we see any issues that might hinder his ability to get his job done. I'm looking forward to meeting with her. She comes with a great deal of experience. So we give the president the benefit of the doubt, but now the process really begins.
I want to pivot while I still have you here and talk about the unfolding events in Syria over the weekend. So Syrian rebels taking down the Assad regime, running the president out of Damascus. President-elect Trump posting on social media that the United States should have nothing to do with Syria. This is not our fight. We should not get involved. But we heard President Biden say yesterday that his administration is already planning on going in and helping stabilize Syria. In your opinion, could Biden make things worse before Trump takes office?
I think the bigger challenge right now is working through diplomatic efforts in the area. Our NATO ally, Turkey, has inroads with HTS, which is the organization that really took down the Assad regime. Israel, right there with us, is our ally. We want to make sure that we're in coordination with them. Between those two countries, I think we should coordinate our efforts. It doesn't mean that we need to have boots on the ground there forever. We've got some people there right now. We want to make darn sure they're protected. We want to be able to take out any of the chemical weapon systems that might still be there. Israel clearly feels as though the 1974 peace agreement between Syria and Israel was violated when the no man's zone was violated. So they're in right now, basically taking up positions that they haven't since 1974. This is a very hot place right now. Cooler heads have to prevail. President Trump is absolutely correct. We don't want to get in the middle of what's going on in Syria, but we do have some people there that are in harm's way right now that we have to address.
Absolutely. All right, Senator, always great to see you. Thank you so much for joining me this morning.
Thank you.